So today we've got, well, let me ask this. Anybody on the call, is it going to be a problem? It's technically a 2 dumbbell circuit today. Does anybody only have one weight, one kettlebell, one dumbbell? You got 2? Okay. All right. All right. So ideally this is done with two dumbbells. I have 2 dumbbells. Actually, we have those dial-up ones, and they have their limitations, but it's good to have them around. You could also do this even if you have like two single kettlebells or dumbbells, like a 25 and a 30 or something like that. Even if they weren't exactly the same, it's no big deal because we're going to do 4 rounds. So you would just hold, you just switch them each round. So no big deal there. And then this can be done with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. And so, yeah, it's kind of just about finding 2 things to hold. Even if you don't have 2 things to hold, you could switch halfway. It's a 30 on, and it's supposed to be 30 off, but sometimes that seems like a long time. So I knocked it down to 20 seconds off, just to get you out of here faster. I don't want to take up too much of your time here this morning. But so today we've got 30 on, 20 off, and we're going to do 4 rounds of 5 exercises. So we'll be just a little bit under 20 minutes, about 19 minutes. But the first exercise is a squat to press. So those weights are going to stay up on your shoulder. All right. So you're holding, whether they're dumbbells or kettlebells. This is where I think kettlebells work a little bit nicer, because you can hold in like this. But if you're holding dumbbells, you'll just hold them up off your side, squatting down, keeping those elbows up high, and then you come up and press the dumbbells all the way up. So it's a big movement. We'll go for 30 seconds. The number that you do is going to be based sort of on the weight that you have. So if you have a heavier weight and that's your only option, you'll probably be doing fewer reps. If you're doing a lighter weight, you should be able to roll through them fairly quickly. All right, then we go right, after 20 seconds rest, we go right to a bent over row. So you're just holding those weights, both weights by your side, push your hips back well behind your heels, and then we're pulling those elbows up towards the ceiling if we're bent over row. Next one is glute bridge. So you're lying down on your back, you're gonna press your hips up nice and strong, and then we're gonna press both dumbbells up at the same time. So it's like a bench press where you're also keeping your hips up. The fourth exercise is a plank row, or also called a renegade row. So you're in a push-up position with your hands on the weights. And so you're in that plank position, like a high plank. And then you're gonna row one of them and you'll row the other. So I would recommend feet wide for that, so that when you row, you don't have to shift your weight off to one side. All right, so that'll be a challenge. Last one, lateral squat. I think I'm just gonna keep feet wide, hold the weights down low, and we squat down to one side, or let's alternate for the 30 seconds. Okay. So with that, let's get it warmed up. Let's take 1 more minute on the roller. Wherever mine went, there it is. So if you haven't yet, let's do that little area right around your pocket. I think that's kind of where a lot of things cross through. So if you have limited time, that's the spot we want to get. And you're also able to roll all the way over to your hip flexor with this. So for a lot of people, your hip and your hip flexor, just from like seated positions and that, all tend to get tight if you're seated for a long time. So we'll make sure we roll over and get all the way to the hip flexor. And good, let's take 20 more seconds. And good. All right, we're going to start off on our front today. So we'll come up onto your elbows. And try to keep your hip bones on the ground here. And so we're just arching up. And then we'll try to look as well. So keep things nice and simple here, or keeping it easy. We shouldn't feel any pinches or kinks in your back. We want to make sure we share that arch so that no one spot takes all of the pressure. Good. From there, let's take one knee out to the side. So when you take your knee out to the side, you're also going to be kind of flexing your other cheek. So the leg that's still behind you, you should be flexing that cheek and pushing your hips down to the ground. We're looking for a hip flexor stretch here. So you should be feeling it on the front of your hip. All right, you might get a little bit of a groin stretch on the leg that's out to the side, but we're really looking for a stretch on the straight leg, the leg that's behind you. And let's go to the other side. Trying to keep your tailbone tucked down. So now we're not looking to arch, but we're looking to tuck that tailbone down. And good. We'll go knees a little bit wide, a little wider than your hips. So we're here. We'll be on all fours, and we sit back, just getting into that squat stretch. We just push hips back. You might get a stretch in your groin. You might feel this in your hips. But on this one, as you push back, you're going to try to keep your tailbone up. And good. Then from this all fours position, we're going to bring that leg up and forward. All right, so we get into a pigeon stretch. Stretching the outside of your hip now. And switch sides. Remember, the more perpendicular your shin is to your body, the more rotation stretch you'll get. So if you need more rotation in your hip or more of a stretch in your hip, you'll just go ahead and grab your foot and pull it forward towards your hands. All right, from here, we're going to go to a push-up position. Push your hips up towards the sky. Drop your heels down to the floor. And then we'll go back to a push-up position. So we're here. We're going to shift forward. So we rock forward, really get those toes stretched. A big flexion on your toes. Then we push your heels back towards the ground, and we'll go up. So we shift forward, shift back, and reach the hips up. So do that 2 more times. Shift forward, shift back, and up. Last time, reaching forward, back, and up. Good. From there, let's go ahead and come up to a knee. And today we're going to reach up and over. So think of your midline going right down your nose in the middle of your chest. You're going to reach up and then arch over that midline. So the side that you're stretching now is the side that's on the floor. Keeping your tailbone tucked, really important here. As soon as you reach, you should feel more of a stretch in the outside of your abs. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So we get tall, tuck your tailbone down. And we're reaching up and across that midline. And good. All right, let's go ahead and stand. All right, so we'll go lateral lunge with a step over. So we're stepping out to the side. Then we come back in. Okay, you're gonna turn your body, make your feet into the letter T. We'll step out, and you put the arch of your stepping leg right in front of the toes of your planted leg. You turn in. As you turn, you should be getting that stretch in your hip. Starting to get your legs warmed up here, ready to go. And so we will have 2 weights today. All right, let's go to the other side. Each of these lateral lunges, we should be reaching a little bit lower. I'll be the first one to admit, it takes me a couple to really get things going. Stepping up and across. And good, last bit of warm up. We're gonna give your knee a hug. So we're pulling up and across, and then letting that go back through for an SLDL. So we pull it up, and we reach. We go about 5 on each leg. And good, let's go to the other side. Pulling up and across. Reaching through. As you do this, try to think about keeping some big toe pressure on the ground. So think of like your foot like a tripod. Your big toe or the ball of your foot, the outside front of your foot, so kind of the ball behind your pinky toe, the joints behind your pinky toe, and then your heel. So you're spreading that foot nice and wide so you get a good strong base. And good. Okay. So we're ready to go. Grab 2 dumbbells. If you have options, I think the limiting factor here will probably, actually it'll probably be the plank row would be your limiting factor. Maybe even shoulder press, although with the shoulder press, you'll be able to press a little bit more just because it's starting with a squat. So you kind of have the chance to get some momentum on the weight and then just finish with the press. All right, we're gonna get going here in 10 seconds. So have your weights nearby, holding a weight in each hand. I'll also call halfway just in case you're not watching this live and you need to switch sides, okay? All right, so let's get started in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Squat to press. Remember, you're sitting your hips back and down. As you press up, those palms will face forward. We're halfway. Five seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Bend over row is next. On the squat to press, make sure you're keeping elbows high as you squat down. As soon as your elbows drop, it pulls everything with it. That's when you start to get stress on your back. All right, bend over row. Ready, and here we go. I guess you can do this with wide feet or narrow. I'll go narrow. So making sure your chest is up. Any bending in your hips or any bending over comes from your hips. 10 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. 20 seconds to rest. Next one is the glute bridge. Okay, so we're lying on your back. It's going to take a second to get the weights into position, so keep that in mind. And here we go. So we press those hips up. And then just like a bench press, tap your elbows to the floor, press up. Halfway. Keeping your hips nice and strong here, tailbone tucked under. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and rest. Yeah, if you're using a heavier weight, that's going to be tough to get into position, but just going to kind of work with it. Okay, plank row. You're going to be in a push-up position with your hands on the weight. And here we go. So we're in that push-up position, feet are wide, pull up, and then we switch hands. So we're going to alternate. Trying to fix your hips in the middle, halfway there. So we try to freeze everything right in the middle. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, finishing up with a lateral squat. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we go feet wide, weights narrow. Ten seconds in, make sure your chest stays up as you reach your hips back halfway. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we're back up to the top. So that was round 1 out of 4. Remember, you can kind of control the difficulty here based on how many you're doing. 3 seconds till the squat and press. 2, 1, and here we go. Keeping those weights almost off to your side as you squat down. Then we press up. Palms will turn forward at the top. Halfway. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Bend over row is next. Three seconds to rest. 2, 1, and here we go. Bend over row. Make sure you're in a good position. Hips pushed back. Shoulder blades back. Head away from the floor. Halfway there. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, glute bridge is next. Remember, it does take a second to get situated. Wait 5 seconds. 2, 1, and here we go. Pressing those hips up, keeping them nice and strong. Let those palms rotate as you press. So your palms will face each other at the bottom and face forward towards your feet at the top. 10 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Rolling right over for a plank row or the renegade row. Getting started in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. We'll go feet wide, hands narrow. Halfway there. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so huge core challenge there. If you need to go to one weight with that, it's no problem. It's going to depend on kind of how comfortable your hands are on the weight, if you can put all the weight into that one dumbbell. Okay, lateral squat to wrap up, round 2. And here we go. I'm just going to one dumbbell here purely for, these things are really big. So I didn't really have room for them to hold both of them. So feel free to drop to 1 if you need to. 3 seconds left. 2, 1, rest. All right, back up to the top for the squat and press. Okay, 5 seconds. 2, 1, and here we go. Squat to overhead press. That chest up as you drop down. Halfway. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. And over row is next. Okay, 5 seconds. 2, 1, and here we go. Making sure you have great posture, so shoulder blades are pulled back, head is away from the floor, and we're pulling your elbows up to tap the ceiling. Halfway. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, rest. You're down on your back for the press. I think it helps to have the weights just on your thighs, just like you'd sit down on a bench to do a bench press. It helps to have the weight on your thighs before you lie down. And here we go, 30 seconds. Looking to make sure your elbows tap the floor at about the same time. Halfway. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. You're rolling right over for the plank row. Three, 2, 1, and off we go. Wide hands narrow. Make sure you're balancing that glass of water on your waistband. Halfway there. Five seconds. 2, 1, and rest. All right, good job, guys. That's a tough one. Wrapping up round 3 with a lateral squat. 2, 1, and here we go. Alternating sides. Remember, it's whatever fits. If only one fits, then that's fine. And if you have kettlebells, this is a little bit easier. Just because the weight hangs lower, hangs down rather than forward and backward. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, guys, last round here. Make sure everything looks good, feels good. Squat to press. 5 seconds. 2, 1, and here we go. Exhale on the way up. Halfway. Five seconds left. 2, 1, and rest. And over rows next. Three seconds. Ready, and here we go. Keep that spine as one piece. Tailbone up in the back. Use the stretch of your hamstring to hold you up. Halfway there. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Get on the floor for a press. Okay, 3 seconds. And here we go. Glute bridge plus the floor press. Remember, let those palms face your feet at the top. Palms face each other at the bottom. Halfway. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, rolling over for the last plank row. Make sure things are nice and solid here. 2 seconds, 1, and last round of these, here we go. Keeping that chest square to the ground, hips square to the ground, halfway. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, rest. All right, guys, the last 30 seconds of work. Lateral squat side to side. Pushing your hips back. Letting that spine move as one piece so we're not arching over from your head. And here we go. Think about keeping that double chin. So your chest can face the floor a little bit, but we want to keep that double chin so that you're not looking down and rounding your spine from the top. 10 seconds left. Three seconds, 2, 1, and rest. Okay. Well, that's a day. All right. So depending on the weight you had there or the number of reps you were doing, that can be a pretty tough one. Okay. Well, that's a Tuesday for us. Guys, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, maybe we'll see you tomorrow.
For sure.
All right, guys. Work rest tomorrow. One of my favorites. See you then.